All right, let's just jump right in. We all think we know ourselves, don't we? I mean, it seems like the one thing we should have a VIP pass to. But what if, and philosophers have been chewing on this for centuries, what if we're actually strangers to our own minds? So let me just ask you straight up. How well do you really know what you want? I'm not talking about what you think you're supposed to want or what you wanted last year, but what you truly deep down desire in this very moment. It sounds like such a simple question, but believe me, the answer is anything but. We all kind of walk around with this built-in assumption that we've got a direct hotline to our own desires. But think about this classic example. Someone is absolutely convinced her dream is to live a quiet, peaceful life out in the country. She tells everyone, plans for it, the whole deal. But in reality, what she truly craves is the buzz and energy of a big city. She just hasn't figured it out yet. This kind of thing happens all the time, and it opens up this massive philosophical puzzle about how we know ourselves at all. And that gets us to the real heart of the matter. What is it that makes self-knowledge so, well, special? For ages, philosophers have been saying that knowing your own mind isn't like knowing any other fact about the world. Like knowing the sky is blue. It's in a totally different league. So this specialness really boils down to two main claims. First, there's this thing called epistemic security. It's the idea that our beliefs about our own minds are rock solid, maybe even infallible. Like, you can be wrong about whether it's actually raining outside, but can you be wrong that you feel like it's raining? See the difference? And the second claim is about having a special method, that we've all got this unique tool, usually called introspection, that lets us peek inside our own heads and see what's going on. And it's that idea, that special method of looking inside, that has kicked off one of the most fascinating and intense debates in all of philosophy. How exactly does it work? Or, and this is the big question, do we even look inside at all? This whole debate basically splits into two camps, with two completely different theories about how we get to know ourselves. So, which is it? Are we looking inward or are we looking outward? Let's break them both down. So first up is the traditional view, the one that probably feels the most intuitive. It's called the inner sense model, and it basically says we have a kind of internal perception, like an inner eye or a mental scanner. Just like we use our actual eyes to see the world out there, we use this inner sense to see our own thoughts, feelings, and beliefs in here. The philosopher John Locke summed this up perfectly way back in the day. He said, look, this process isn't a sense like sight or touch because it's not looking at stuff out in the world. But, he said, it's so much like a sense that you could pretty much call it an internal sense. And honestly, this has been the go-to explanation for centuries. But then, along comes this radical, kind of mind-bending alternative, the transparency model. This theory completely flips the script. It says that to figure out what you believe, you don't turn your attention inward at all. Nope, you look outward, at the world itself. The philosopher Gareth Evans put it in this really powerful way. He said that to figure out what you believe, one's eyes are directed outward upon the world. Now, I know that sounds weird, it sounds totally backwards, but a quick little thought experiment can make this whole idea click into place. Let's try it out. I'm going to ask you two questions. First one, will there be a third world war? Just take a second and think about it. What are you doing right now? You're probably thinking about geopolitics, historical conflicts, the news, all stuff out there in the world. Okay, got your answer? Now for question number two. It seems different, but is it? Do you believe there will be a third world war? What did you just do in your head to answer that one? Did you turn inward and start searching for a thing labeled belief? Or did you do something else? And here is the absolute kicker. According to the transparency model, you answered both of those questions by doing the exact same thing. To figure out if you believe something is true, you just look at the evidence for it out in the world. You look right through your belief to the thing itself. Your belief is, well, it's transparent. So what we're left with is this really stark contrast. You've got the inner sense model, which says the method is an inward scan, kind of like perception. And then you have the transparency model, which says, no, the method is an outward inquiry, like looking through a perfectly clean window. These are just two fundamentally different ways of thinking about how we know our own minds. So, why on earth does any of this matter, right? This might all seem like some abstract game for philosophers. But actually, which of these models you lean toward has huge consequences for how you understand what it even means to be a person. I mean, it goes right to the core of personal identity. Who you are from one day to the next. It shapes our idea of agency, Are you actually in the driver's seat of your actions? And it's tangled up in the massive question of free will. Are your choices the result of some deep self-reflection or something else entirely? And these aren't just old, dusty questions. They're alive and well, smack in the middle of some of the most complex, the most personal, and frankly, the most intense debates that we are having about identity in our society today. For instance, these deep philosophical questions about what we can know about ourselves just by looking inside versus what we learn from actually living in the world, they surface in very real and complex modern conversations, which you can see reflected in titles just like this one from the Journal of Controversial Ideas. And that really leaves us with one final challenging thought to take away. Let's go back to that transparency model. I want you to think about this. What is one belief you hold right now? Maybe it's about your career path, a relationship, or even who you think you are, that you've sort of just accepted by looking inward, but have never really put to the test by looking outward at the world. It's a tough question,